This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Thursday, the 4th day of March in the year 2021. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. The opposition APNU-AFC continued its protest in the National Assembly today over the alleged assault of one of its members, Tabitha Sarabohali, by Government Minister Kwame McCoy. At the start of today's examination of the budget estimates, Opposition Chief Whip Christopher Jones rose to his feet to again express concern over the assault allegations.
Our position, as mentioned earlier to you, sir, just to inform you, sir, that our position remains the same. Requesting the Honourable Member, Mr. Kwame McCoy, to leave the precincts of the Assembly in order for us to proceed with the consideration of these estimates.
The Speaker told him that he should bring a motion to the House for the matter to be discussed, and that set off more protests by the opposition as members started to bang on their desk.
Member, I had mentioned to you that you can bring a proper motion in line with the standing orders for that to be considered.
The Speaker was later forced to suspend the sitting of the committee again as the protests continued loudly. When the Speaker eventually returned, the opposition members stood again, demanding that Government Minister Kwame McCoy be removed from the Assembly over his alleged assault of opposition member Sarabohali.
Honourable Member, Mr. Jones, I am once again calling on you and your members to please be seated. Honourable members,
the Speaker reminded that he cannot remove the member from the Assembly over an alleged incident that occurred outside the Assembly. Opposition members remained standing as the Speaker proceeded with the consideration of the estimates, with no questions or clarifications being asked or sought. Within an hour, the consideration of the estimates was completed in the noisy Assembly. With that consideration completed, the Finance Minister moved quickly and got the budget passed. More news coming up in a moment.
Guyana, we've been through it all.
But as a people we have
weathered every storm
And risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
that gives it its strength.
all the people,
regardless of race,
class or religion.
We are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
This is Annie Bina. She's a clothing designer. She also likes to hang out with her friends. However, a life-changing event is about to occur. The mosquito that bit Annie Bina is infected with a tiny worm that causes lymphatic filariasis, also known as Phylyria. But what is Phylyria? Phylyria is a disease that affects a person's lymphatic system, causing legs, arms, breasts, or scrotum to swell and eventually remain in a swollen state that cannot go back to normal. Phylyria shows no symptoms during the early years. Untreatable chronic symptoms can appear as late as 20 years after infection. Since there are no symptoms in the beginning, most infected persons do not know they're infected, like Annie Bina. When the symptoms begin to appear, nothing will be able to make them disappear. Are you sure that you've not been infected like Annie Bina? What can you do then, since you see no symptoms? Take your pills. Prevention is the best cure. A message from the Ministry of Health in collaboration with PAHO WHO.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
Mom, what are you doing with GPL on your list?
Child, you forgot I have to pay GPL?
You got time with GPL.
I have to keep these lights on. The customers who think in that manner and refuse to honor their obligation to GPL are obviously not playing their part in ensuring quality service delivery. So, I will continue to pay my GPL bill on time, every time.
I recognize the value of your point, Mom. You were right.
Welcome back. The annual Police Officers Conference opened this morning at the National Cultural Center. And addressing his first Police Officers Conference, President Irfan Ali laid out the case for further reforming and rebranding of the Guyana Police Force. The President told senior and junior police officers that as there is a need to restructure and reposition the police force, the way the force is seen by members of the public will also have to be an issue that will have to be addressed.
You can have the best structure, but the worst brand. You can have the best people, and let me say this, the Guyana Police Force has talented, highly qualified, skilled officers and personnel. We are not lacking in that department at all. But one of the issues we have is the brand. You can have the best product, but if you have a bad brand, you have problems. So we reposition, we restructure, and we have to look at rebranding. What does rebranding mean to us?
President Ali said there will also be the need to further decentralize the operations of the Guyana Police Force. He noted that too often many communities are forced to wait on a high-level team from headquarters. The President wants to see all of the important units of the force in every region.
Specialized units in every region. The future would not give us the time to send in what is normally termed a high-level team from the major crimes unit to investigate something 2 days old in a different region. We have to have capacity in the regions. We have to build the capacity, build the institutions, and strengthen the institutions.
And the officers were also told that improving efficiency will top any restructuring plan for the force.
In restructuring, the goal has to be efficiency, effectiveness, responsiveness, and it requires clarity of vision. Not mixture of vision. No individual or group is running a separate arm of the force. There must be one common vision. One approach, a singular approach.
The Guyana Police Force has reported a more than 40% decrease in serious crimes over the past year, although there has been an increase in the number of murders. The President has given a commitment of his government to further strengthen and develop the police force. He said key training programs will be unveiled as part of the plans to retool the Guyana Police Force. Still with that police officers conference, the Guyana Police Force has had cause to place 47 of its own members before the courts in the past year for criminal conduct, according to the top cop, Nigel Hoppy. The police commissioner told the opening of the officers conference that there are ranks who are bent on not acting in conformity with their oaths of office.
The force will continue to take condign action against those ranks whose behavior or actions are found not to be consistent with the discipline and ethics, and will continue to charge those found culpable, either departmentally or criminally, as warranted. Presently, we have some 47 ranks before the court on criminal charges.
The acting police commissioner also said when members of the police force act in a certain manner, the image of the force is brought into disrepute.
The attitude of some members of the force towards the public and the deviant behavior of some others, particularly corruption, are of concern to the Forces Administration, as they impact negatively on public trust and confidence, and the image that we are trying to inculcate.
On the other hand, Mr. Hoppy noted that the Guyana Police Force has dedicated and professional officers who execute their duties without fear or favor. He said the force has been dealing with matters involving police through the Office of Professional Responsibility, which has now been decentralized to all policing divisions.
Last year, the department received 193 complaints against members of the force compared to 303 in 2019.
The security reform process, according to the Commissioner of Police, is aimed at providing safety and security through enhancing the effectiveness and accountability of the Guyana Police Force by operating to the human rights and the rule of law. The Police Officers Conference will wrap up this weekend. Following the filing of a police complaint by opposition Member of Parliament Tabitha Sarabow-Halley that she was physically assaulted by Government Minister Kwame McCoy, the minister has denied the allegation. In a statement last evening, McCoy admitted that there was an exchange of words between him and Sarabow-Halley, but he said there was no physical assault. According to the minister, he was outside the parliamentary chamber and had just had a verbal exchange with the Chief Election Officer, Keith Lowenfield, when he observed the opposition MP nearby. He said the two exchanged words, but there was no physical contact, adding that the entire incident was witnessed by Minister Prasad. But the opposition MP Tabitha Sarabow-Halley said she was on her way to the washroom when she noticed McCoy in a confrontation. She said he turned his attention to her and started to use his phone to take pictures of her. Sarabow-Halley said she raised her hands to block her face, and McCoy pushed aside her hands and hit her to the head with his phone. She said she immediately informed the opposition leader and the clerk of the National Assembly about the incident. A police report was filed and the matter is currently under investigation. In wake of the Guyana government's condemnation of an incursion by Venezuelan fighter jets over Etteringbang and Region 7 on Tuesday, the Venezuelan government is rejecting the claims and is now accusing Guyana of making false accusations. In a statement, the Ministry of Popular Power for Foreign Relations in Venezuela rejected what it called the inaccuracies and false accusations made by the Guyana Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Venezuelan authorities have accused the Guyanese government of trying to generate what it terms a false version of the events which took place and called the exercise a regular patrol. The incursion by the Venezuelan fighter jets was captured on camera by residents in the Etteringbang area. The Venezuelan government said it has reminded the Guyana Foreign Ministry that since there is what it calls a dispute over the Essequibo region, neither Guyana or Venezuela can refer to the territory as their own. But the dispute referred to by Venezuela was settled in 1899, after more than 50 years, when a tribunal found that Essequibo rightfully belongs to Guyana. Despite that tribunal ruling, Venezuela continues to claim Guyana's territory. The government of Guyana has moved to inform the international community of the latest acts of aggression from Venezuela. The government on Wednesday accused the Venezuelan government of more intimidation and acts of aggression following the flyover of Etteringbang by two Venezuelan military jets. In a statement, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said the two Venezuelan army jets flew over the area of Etteringbang and the airstrip at a very low altitude of 1,500 feet. The fighter jets circled the location once before proceeding in an easterly direction. The government of Guyana says it condemns the latest acts of aggression by Venezuela as a violation of the sovereignty of Guyana over the air above its territory. Yesterday, the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Guyana summoned the Venezuelan ambassador to formally express Guyana's protest of the move. Describing the announcement by Scotiabank of its planned sale to First Citizens Bank of Trinidad and Tobago as premature and irresponsible, the minister responsible for finance in Guyana, Dr. Ashley Singh, has indicated that a regulatory process for the sale has not started. Scotiabank announced the planned sale in a press statement yesterday afternoon. The statement was issued moments after staff members were informed of the agreement of sale, but the Finance Ministry appears to have been caught off guard by the announcement. Minister responsible for finance, Dr. Ashley Singh.
The government of Guyana considers it extremely unfortunate that this transaction was announced, considering that any such transaction is subject to a specified regulatory process. In particular, Section 12 of the Financial Institutions Act stipulates that no financial institution may transfer the whole or a substantial part of its operations in Guyana without the prior approval of the Bank of Guyana.
According to the minister, considering that the laws of Guyana require process for the sale, the government considers it premature to announce a transaction taking place before that consideration was finalized.
Considering that the laws of Guyana require this process, we consider it premature to announce a transaction of this nature, particularly given that the regulatory process to consider the request for any such transaction is yet to be initiated, much less to be concluded. It is the intention of the government of Guyana, and indeed it is the intention of the regulator and supervisor of the financial sector, that is to say the central bank, to ensure that the laws of Guyana are complied with in the fullest, and in particular to ensure that appropriate processes of due diligence and other processes required under the laws of Guyana are initiated and concluded before any such transaction can be proceeded with.
The finance minister said both the government and the central bank remain firmly committed to ensuring the maintenance of a stable, strong, vibrant, dynamic, and growing financial sector, especially during the current period. Scotiabank said the planned sale supports its strategic decision to focus on operations across its footprint, where it can achieve greater scale and deliver the highest value for customers. Scotiabank's current operations in Guyana stretch across 4 branches with 180 employees.
Guyana, we've been through it all.
But as a people, we have
Weathered every storm
and risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
that gives it its strength.
all the people,
Regardless of race,
class, or religion.
We
are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up, fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
This is Annie Bina. She's a clothing designer. She also likes to hang out with her friends. However, a life-changing event is about to occur. The mosquito that bit Annie Bina is infected with a tiny worm that causes lymphatic filariasis, also known as Phylyria. But what is Phylyria? Phylyria is a disease that affects a person's lymphatic system, causing legs, arms, breasts, or scrotum to swell and eventually remain in a swollen state that cannot go back to normal. Phylyria shows no symptoms during the early years. Untreatable chronic symptoms can appear as late as 20 years after infection. Since there are no symptoms in the beginning, most infected persons do not know they're infected, like Annie Bina. When the symptoms begin to appear, nothing will be able to make them disappear. Are you sure that you've not been infected like Annie Bina? What can you do then since you see no symptoms? Take your pills. Prevention is the best cure. A message from the Ministry of Health in collaboration with PAHO WHO.
to the impacts of the global pandemic, COVID-19, across our nation, essential organizations like us have chosen to adopt innovative approaches to meet the emerging needs of our customers while protecting our employees. Here are some quick tips to make managing your GPL bill easier while we practice social distancing. To register for electronic billing, you can use the e-billing tab on your website. To access your bill balance, you can use 4 options: the website live chat at gpl.net, the online inquiry on our website under billing, SMS Freedom by texting your GPL reference number to 624-0400 or 608-8400, or call our call center at 226-2600. A message from the Guyana Power and Light Incorporated.
Across the region right now, Brazil on Wednesday registered its highest daily number of COVID-19 deaths since the pandemic started. The health ministry in Brazil said 1,910 persons died with COVID in the past 24 hours, the second day in a row of record deaths. The record was reached as scientists said that the new variant first found in Brazil appears more contagious. Brazil has the second highest coronavirus death toll after the US at more than 250,000. Across the country, there have been more than 10.5 million confirmed cases of coronavirus. Only the US and India have registered more cases. Ecuador has named a new health minister after the previous minister stepped down over irregularities in a pilot program for COVID-19 vaccinations. The president of Ecuador, Lenin Moreno, on Monday announced that 63-year-old surgeon Rodolfo Farfan, who had served as vice minister for comprehensive care in the country's health ministry, would replace Juan Carlos Zevallos. Zevallos resigned on the 26th of February after questions were raised about his participation in a vaccination effort at a nursing home where his mother lives. The president tweeted on Monday that he has confidence in the new health minister's ability to manage Ecuador's vaccination program. The country has reported more than 286,000 COVID-19 cases and more than 15,800 coronavirus-related deaths. And finally tonight, we end on a high note. The US has agreed to suspend tariffs on UK goods, including single malt whiskies, that were imposed in retaliation over subsidies to the aircraft maker Airbus. Tariffs will also be lifted on UK cheese, cashmere, and machinery. The duties will be suspended for 4 months, while the two sides seek a long-term settlement. On the 1st of January, the UK dropped its own tariffs on some US goods, put in place over a related dispute about US subsidies to Boeing. It is the latest twist in a decades-old trade route that has seen the EU and the US target billions of dollars worth of each other's exports with taxes. The UK is part of the dispute as a former EU member. Airbus makes wings and other parts in the UK, but assembles its commercial aircraft in the EU. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley. Be safe.